Everybody, Psychopath1c here. It's been a really long time since I've been on YouTube. I've been busy. I have a job now, and I'm very, very happy with that. Um, been with my girlfriend a lot. Sadly, I can't really balance my social life with my business life too much. But I felt, you know what? It's January 2019. I should crack open a video. So I thought, why not go with a controversial movie in its own way? It's monstrous, brutal, and gory, and those are all things I love. Especially gore. I love the gore. So I picked up Seed. I saw this movie before, back on the internet, back in when I was in high school. So that's how long it's been. And then I watched it on YouTube with my girlfriend a few months ago, and she really liked it. But the problem was, it was in German, and it didn't have subtitles, so I was trying to tell her bits and pieces of what they were saying in English from what I remember from seeing it in the standard version. So, first, right off the bat, what's with the animal PETA footage? It is not needed to get your controversial point across. It's not needed to show how bad humanity is. It just turns people off of the movie. But then after that, it picks up. Like, it actually becomes a movie, like an actual movie. It's about a guy by the name of Matt Bishop. Played by, I'm gonna butcher the dude's name, but I'll try my best. Michael Pare. He's an, I don't really know much outside of the fact that he acts in Uwe Boll movies, and by the way, this is an Uwe Boll movie. And I've talked about how much I hate Uwe Boll, but over the years, I've grown to appreciate him. Hell, one of my newer favorite movies of his is Rampage. This came out in 2009. Had I known about this movie back when it was new, I would have been like, wow, hard to believe the same guy who directed House of the Dead, which I like House of the Dead. I have no problems with House of the Dead, but a lot of people do. And a lot of people have problems with Uwe Boll. The only problems I have with this is the animal cruelty scene. And that's at the beginning. Other than that, oh, and the baby violence. Oh, good lord, the baby violence in this was... it was just one scene, but it got to me. And the reason it doesn't piss me off as much is because it was a dream sequence. There is deleted scenes on this. I did like some of the deleted scenes, but most of them were just the video archive footage that is seen in the movie, just up close, and it's showing in detail each of the scenes that were on the TV. It wasn't needed, and I'm glad they cut it out, because I did not need to see a poor little infant starve, be pretty much starved and rotted from the inside out. Like, I didn't need to see that. But then the movie picks up. I'll talk about the movie more now. A detective by the name of Matt Bishop, played by Michael Pare, he's on the hunt for a killer by the name of Max Seed. He's wanted for all these murders, apparently 666 murders. It takes place in the 1970s, so yay. I'm into like 70s horror exploitation type of stuff, so I felt right at home right here. And they go to Seed's house, and this movie goes over the course of a few days. The first time we started up, Seed is watching the animal cruelty video. Yeah. And then we meet Michael Pare. He had a dream about Seed on a bus. And it's how you can tell this is a dream right off the bat. Nobody notices him, nobody notices Seed, and it's a crowded bus. And who could not know? I don't know if the camera will pick it up because it's dark. Hey, reflection. That's Seed right there, if you can see. He's the guy with the not electrocution mask, but execution mask that they wear on people's faces for their execution. Hence the term execution mask. But what happens is they find Seed through videotapes. Apparently Seed has been sending them videotapes in the mail to the police station. And each of these detail what happens in Seed's basement. Seed's basement is where most of the archive footage would come in, like the baby scene, the sadly a dog dying. But this I can totally excuse because it's makeup, special effects, and stuff. Like, I get that, and it's done from an artistic standpoint. The gore is excellent, and it's done by one of my favorite filmmakers out there, German gore master known as Olaf Ittenbach. One of my favorite director of one of my favorite movies, The Burning Moon. So it was kind of cool to see him in the credits. And then they watch the footage and they start to track the fingerprints down, like, try to track the source, the feed, where the camera was and everything. And they track it down to a house in the middle of the woods. Now this house, it takes a good 2-3 minutes of them driving. It doesn't feel like 2 to 3 minutes because you're getting exposition, but it's done in a pretty cohesive way. Like, it's not boring. It's actually really interesting. Like, the first half of this film is like a really good cop action movie. You're wanting to see this man, Matt Bishop, Michael Pare's character, get Seed, get him into custody. So, Seed gets put into custody. But first, we get some awesome gore. Ugh, I love this gore. I wish I knew the people who did the effects. They say it in the credits, but I think one of the people was actually Todd Masters, and he makes masks, I want to say. Todd Masters. I have another movie here involving Todd Masters' effects. But anyways, the effects he did were awesome. One of the deaths is a booby trap. Seed has his entire house booby trapped with a whole bunch of things. And there's one of these stupid cops thinks it's wise. Oh, there's a wheelchair, and there's going to be, oh, maybe there's a live person. Goes up to the wheelchair, it turns, and as it turns, a knife rips open the dude's skull, and you get to see fragments of his brain and bloody goodness. And I'm like, two thumbs up. Yeah. Like, when Uwe Boll does his original stuff, especially with this is the stuff I want to see. I want to see a horror film, and this is brutal as hell, and it's entertaining to me. Like, I'm entertained by a lot of different stuff, like violent shit, The Beyond. Lucio Fulci is one of my favorites. Night of the Living Dead, one of my personal favorites. Day of the Dead, absolutely freaking amazing. The original Day of the Dead. The remake could have been better. But Day of the Dead, possibly my favorite zombie movie. And it's got one of my... Going off topic, never mind. I'll talk about Day of the Dead eventually. Unless I've already talked about it, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube. I'd have to check my archives. But anyways, onwards. They catch Seed after 3 cops stupidly die trying to investigate this house, and they finally catch up to Seed. And Seed is pretty much caught willingly. Like, this is all part of Seed's plan. Like, he somehow gets caught, and he's like, nothing. Goes to prison. So from there, we get a really vast group of people, like small group, but big enough. Going to see Seed get electrocuted. Viewing of the electrocution. So, anyways, there's something wrong with the electric chair. Apparently, it's faulty, and it fries, pretty much makes the person well done. That's the best way to put it. It cooks the person. Whereas in regular electric chair, it was just supposed to electrocute the person. So it's faulty. And what happens is, I don't know if this is true or not, but 3 shocks and the person gets sent back to prison. And I highly doubt anybody's going to survive 3 jolts from this sucker. But it's a movie, so yay. Get to suspend your disbelief. So anyways, we get an amazing blood. If this is CGI blood, I didn't really notice it too much. It did look a little iffy, but when the blood started pouring, I was like, whoop. Great. So I might be talking this movie up, being a gorehound and whatnot, but the plot, first part, cop action movie, like they're trying to get Seed, and they finally catch Seed, and then all hell breaks loose after the electrocution. 3 jolts. The first time, his heart's still beating. Like, the second jolt is when you get the blood, and somehow his heart's still beating. Third jolt, his brain gets fried, and fire ends up going on his skull and everything, and he turns into a crispy croaker, pretty much. And he is, well, not really croaker, because this dude survives a 3rd freaking jolt. So this guy is somehow superhuman. And so they decide, you know what, let's ease the people. Like, let's say, oh, he's dead. Bad idea. Because they bury him alive And when he comes out, he is pissed. And the body count is amazing. One death, I'm going to spoil the deaths here, but be warned, the deaths in this movie uh, are done pretty well, and the warning being some of them might disturb like the average viewer. If you're the average viewer, why are you watching the Uwe Boll film? But anyways, um, and when you're going into a movie like Seed, you're going into it for the gore. And the first actual kill, Seed is underneath the bed of this person. The person goes to bed, turns the light off, real casual scene. Um, Turns the light off, and he starts hearing a like a light socket sound. And he puts on his glasses, and then he looks over his bed. Boom! Seed pops out, rips his nose off, bites it off, and you just see the dude bleeding and whatnot. And then you just see a cutaway, but you see just enough to know Seed is eating this person, so Seed's a cannibal. So I like cannibals in movies. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't want to say I like Cannibal Holocaust because of the content that's in it, but for what Cannibal Holocaust is, that's a whole nother subject. But anyways, the death scene, if you're a gorehound, you probably want more. But if you're a gorehound like me, who can respect the arts and like respect that, oh, it's a low budget, like they can't do a whole lot on their low budget, but that's kind of going against low budget standards, because hell, some of my favorite films are done on low budgets, and they have amazing deaths. Gutterballs, for example. Yeah. Day of the Dead. Anyways, so most of the deaths are gory, but some deaths, just enough. It's the little things. Second death. A person gets pinned to a wall with a flag post. I assume it's a flag post. Right, like it's one of those like decoration flag posts you'd see like in a veteran's house. He gets shoved right through the chest and starts hanging, and you just see the guts just hanging on the pole. And then slowly the deaths start cranking up. Apparently they think that it's a copycat killer, a Seed copycat killer. So what happens is Michael Pere's character, he's getting hassled and whatnot, being told, you shouldn't have buried him alive, you shouldn't have buried him alive. And he's like, I know, I should have killed him. But how can you kill something like that? Like, they never really explain why Seed is immortal, but sometimes, like Sweatshop, which is another favorite, it doesn't need to explain itself too much. It's immortal, it's a monster, that's all the... If you're going into it for a monster movie, a monster slasher type of thing, I think you're going to be pretty entertained. But that's just me. Like, this is coming from a guy who loves low budget, crazy, over the top stuff like Dead Alive, other sorts of things. But anyways, Michael Pere's character is forced into a predicament. I'm gonna skip ahead because there is a torture scene, and if you've watched my channel, you know that I'm not a fan of torture. But there is a scene, and it's done decently. Okay, I guess I'll talk about the death. Pretty much, a woman, she's strapped to a chair. And pretty much, she can't move. She all she can do is twist her head and whatnot. And so Seed starts tapping his axe, the end of his axe, just going like, and you just hear, and it goes on for like 2 minutes, and then it goes faster and faster, and then it's a good effect. Like, the CGI is a little shoddy, but it's a good effect. And he just shoves the axe right into her head. I sped up the death like, I talked about the death fast, but it does drag a little bit. But then Michael Buré's character, Matt Bishop, his family gets taken by Seed. His daughter, who's played by Jodelle Ferlin from Silent Hill. Yes, people think she's annoying, but I have no problem with the actress. Anyways, she did fine here. And Michael Buré's wife ends up getting kidnapped too. So they're strapped to a chair, and Michael Buret goes hunting for his family. Badass cop, getting ready to save the ones he loves. Goes to this farmhouse, aka Seed's house, and he falls for the trap, sadly. And major spoiler alert here. Michael Buret is trapped inside. This is the ending. I'm going to try to I don't want to spoil it, but at the same time, if you're going into this, you at least gotta know what you're going into. So, the ending, I'm trying to do this without spoiling the ending. He is forced to make a choice: kill himself and save his family, or don't kill himself and his family dies. I'll leave you with that. But anyways, wow, that ending. It's not the most brutal ending I've ever seen, but it does stick with me a little bit. But this movie I can watch. I can watch and have a good time. Except for the beginning. No. No animal cruelty for me. But I liked the film. The gore was excellent. The acting, in my eyes, good. Especially for Michael Buret, he did a good job. I certainly hope I'm saying his name right. But anyways, if you're a fan of gore, or you're a fan of the independent circuit, you might like it, but this is just my opinion. I liked it, and my verdict on it, out of 10, I want to give it an 8 because of the gore, but if I'm going to be fair here, it could have delved deeper into Seed's madness a little bit more, like have more kills and whatnot, explain more of why, like, how did Seed become immortal and whatnot, but anyways, that would have taken away the mystique, so it's kind of a double-edged sword. So anyways, I'll give it a rating of a 7 out of 10. And for people who wonder about my ratings, a 7 out of 10 is still a worthwhile good time. Definitely check this out if you're a fan of extreme horror films. But if you're not a fan of extreme horror films, do not watch this, because chances are you will not like it. Even if you are a fan of extreme horror films, you might like it, but then again you might not. And this film is hard as hell to find reviews for, because I keep on searching for reviews for this film, and all that pops up is Seed of Chucky. I'm like, I want Seed. I want reviews for this movie, not Seed of Chucky. I think I ranted on Seed of Chucky, actually. So, anyways, and if you're wondering, it is the unrated version, and you might have noticed this little spot right here. It says it includes a free PC game. And if you're wondering, it's Advent Rising. I like Advent Rising. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fun so far. I used to have it for the Xbox. I remember getting like some laughs out of it, of how the characters ran and everything. I know it's meant to be a serious game, but like, it's so technically bad. But I liked it. So anyways, this is Psychopath1c signing off, giving this movie 7 out of 10. Hopefully you all enjoyed this comeback review. It's been a while since I've been on YouTube. Sorry for the long wait for the people who have been subscribed to my channel, waiting for new videos. I'm so sorry. I've been busy with my job and busy with life pretty much, so haven't really had time to do much. So anyways, this is Psychopath1c signing off. Catch you later.